Hello and welcome to our second lecture of the course Introduction to Urbanism. So guys, we're gonna continue where we've stopped from last class. Last class we talked about the Industrial Revolution. We talked about why I've decided to start the course in the 19th century. It is because it was when urbanism became officially recognized as a discipline, and we talked about the consequences of the Industrial Revolution. We talked about that there was a huge population growth. We talked about people moving from rural areas to urban areas, that there wasn't enough food and clothes for everyone, as an example. So we talked about the problems that were appearing in those urban areas. So let's continue from this part. That was a historic background and contextualization of when urbanism was needed to become a discipline. So here we go. Starting from our objectives. What are our objectives of today? So I decided to follow the urbanist Françoise Choay. I decided to follow her logistics, how she organizes all the urban models and all the theories that were appearing during that time. So in 1965, she published a book about all the studies that had been carried out in the 19th and 20th century. So she gathers a lot of references. So I'm gonna start with that. Then we're talking about the first attempts for the solution of urban problems in the industrial city. Basically, the main problems were related to health and the housing issue. And actually, I'm gonna present you only two of these. We are gonna talk about Barcelona in Spain, and we are gonna talk about France with the plan of Haussmann. However, the others you guys can find in the material I provided. These are, I think, when you think about plans, urban plans and models carried out in the 19th and early 20th century, these are the references you guys are gonna find. So, but today let's talk about the first two. Starting with her, she is well known internationally when you talk about urbanism because of her books and innovative way of thinking about the city. So these are her main works. You guys can take a look on Google and also check the links. So I'm gonna tell you right now how she organized everything. So I think this is the most used book in schools and universities of architecture and urbanism because she has a panoramic view on theories of urbanism. So you guys can find it, you can buy it online, and I think it's a clear reading, so she's very straightforward. And she also tells about the word. She talks about the word urbanism. It's quite recent because it dates back to 1910. So in her book she says, towards the end of the 19th century, the expansion of the industrial society gave rise to a discipline that stood out from previous urban arts by its reflective and critical character and by its scientific pretension. So she defines urbanism as an activity related to the study of regulation with control and planning of cities. Thus, urbanism has a multidisciplinary character. It involves a lot of different people, a lot of different facts. So you have social, economical approach, political, because the city, the urban environment, it ends up being political. So you involve a lot of people and facts that you need to have a broad approach in order to find a proper and better solution for the cities. And how does she organize all the models in her book? So she organizes the models of urban planning. She divides it in basically three of them, which is culturalists, progressive, and naturalist. So culturalists, they defend the appreciation of the past. So they are still connected with the past, and they think about the carry out an aesthetic, historical, and sociological approach to the city. I'm gonna show you a few names so you guys can search about it more deep. So their proposals seem to be to have a nostalgia about the past. On the other hand, progressive, they defend a model of cities ideal for man. They are thinking about the future, they are thinking about progress with a strong concern for hygiene. It was basically health and hygiene were critical. So they have a belief in the future resulting from a discontinuity with the actions of the present. I'm going to show you guys in the Haussmann intervention, for example. A naturalist, it's a anti-urban thought. They write about how urbanization and how the industrial city changed the reality and how it caused a lot of bad consequences. So, and how does she organize? So, in this article down here, you guys can take a look. The author organizes all the models of urban planning in tables, and she separates them by color. So this is a good article for you to read. However, it's in Portuguese, but you can easily translate it with Google Translator. So first of all, from the period of 1820 to 1919, she divides this period, I'm talking about Choay, she divides this period in pre-urbanism. She adopts this term for approaches from the beginning of the 19th to the beginning of the 20th century, considering the term urbanism have been forged in the beginning of the 20th century, as I said, in 1910. So she establishes a reference with the growth of urbanization from the industrial society that was consolidated in the period with chronological ordering in the classified approaches. So it's an easier way to understand all the ideas and theories that were appearing. So this is a list of all the main scientists and professionals that were searching about the topic. It's a comprehensive table. So right after the term urbanism appears, she divides the the approaches into culturalists, which is the blue one, progressive, which is the red one, and naturalist, which is the green one. So this is gonna be part 1 of the lecture. I'm gonna divide in 2 parts because I think that this table is a lot of information. So this is the end of part 1 of the second lecture. And on the second part, we are going to talk about the plans of Haussmann for Paris and Cerdà for Barcelona.